Hey, welcome back. Now in my last video, if you caught it, I shared the best kinds of content to share to Instagram. And I shared that the stories is my #1 kind of content for Instagram. It is what helps me develop amazing relationships with my audience and helps me generate leads on demand for my real estate business. So in this video, it's been highly requested. I'm sharing some super sneaky tips on how to make stories extra engaging with your audience. And hey, if we haven't met yet, my name is Stefanie Lugo, and if you're looking to grow your real estate business and have a little fun while you're at it, be sure to subscribe to this channel where I dish on all the latest social media strategies for real estate. And while you're at it, be sure to hit that bell notification icon so that you're notified every time I drop new content here every week. So I've wanted to do this video for a long time, and I'm really excited to share some of the sneaky ninja tips and strategies that I use on the stories to help generate leads on demand and really connect with my audience as well as connect with new audiences. So I'm super excited about this, and you might want to have your phone and Instagram open and follow along with me while we go through this. Now, when it comes to Instagram stories, it's all about engagement and reach. Now, remember, I've said before, 1 in 4 stories results in a direct message. So these tactics that I'm going to be sharing with you are all about how to start more conversations that can lead to setting appointments and getting in front of new people. When I go into the stories, I'm just going to click that little camera icon, and here I am. The first thing that I want to do is share with you some different art features that you can do. So I'm just gonna take a picture and I'm gonna go ahead and click that little brush icon and hold it down until it whites out my entire screen. Now you can do this with any color at the bottom, but sometimes when you want just a blank feature to add on some text content, this is a really good way to do it instead of having to upload a blank template. And I just wanna share with you a couple of the things you can do. You can add some text. Hey, there's text, and you can change the colors. But sometimes you want to really make sure it's super engaging. So what you might do is go here and select all and copy it and add it as another text bubble, okay? And what I'm gonna do here is make it a different color and layer it over the first text bubble so that I can get a cool shadow effect. Kind of fun, right? So just a couple of ways you can make this super dynamic and super engaging instead of just kind of a boring talking head video, which I also love. Sometimes you want a little more, right? There's a couple of things you can do here as well. If we hit that little that little squiggly icon, it's going to give us some different options as far as different lines and different artistic features we can add. So I might want to do a double underline, right, to emphasize text. I might want to add a fun little squiggle using the highlighter icon to give some dimension to this. Right? So I just want you to be aware that there are different things that you can do with this over time to really help make your stories stand out. Another fun thing you can do with text is this fun rainbow gradient feature, okay? And again, all we're trying to do here is not get super fancy just for no reason, but just make it a little more engaging for the people who are viewing our stories. So if I were to do this, here's text. Maybe you want to do something fun that's a little more branded or a little more diverse color. So I'm just going to go onto these little color bubbles. I'm going to hold down, and you get the whole range of spectrum of color. And you can kind of see, if I were to do this, I can choose almost any color in the whole alphabet. So if you want, or in the whole spectrum of color. So if you want to make something that's really branded, but you're not seeing your colors there, you can always do that as well. So the next feature I want to share are utilizing different stickers that are available to us on the stories. And the first one that I want to dive into are polls. Now, polls and the next one I'm going to share, questions, are ways that you can literally at any given moment find hand raisers in your audience of people who might be interested in buying or selling. So these are great strategies to leverage once a week even. You don't want to play them out, but they're really, really good to use in case you're trying to find some leads on your Instagram audience. Now, the great part about utilizing a poll on your stories is you invite your audience to engage with you and give you either yes or no answers, or just engage with you with any answer that you might set. So already you should be thinking, man, there's a lot of ways that I can create polls. Are you looking to buy or sell this year? Do you have questions about buying or selling this year? You know, depending on the kind of content that you're creating at any given time, you can almost always use a poll, and it's a very easy way for people to engage with you. So say I wanted to make a story, just something that's super quick and easy to up my engagement with my audience. I just want something fun to put in front of them and have them engage with me, okay? So I'm gonna go into my stories, and again, just gonna do a quick little picture. I'm gonna hold down that color, the little squiggle line, so that I can get a blank canvas. And I might go ahead and say something fun, like, are you looking to buy or sell in 2020? You might want to be a little more creative and a little more engaging than this, but just for the example, I hope you can see how this is already really powerful. I'm gonna center that text, I'm gonna make it look cute. I'm gonna hit the little square smiley face icon, and I'm gonna click the poll. I don't really need to enter any text in that ask a question since I already typed it out, but I might do something fun like heck yes, or not this year. And that's just a way that you can very quickly get just get something in front of your followers and help them engage with you over time on the stories. So I'm actually gonna go into my archive and show you a poll that I've done on my profile recently. So I just opened up this story, and you can see that I had a listing that was off market that I wanted to share. It was kind of like a sneak preview, but I wanted to get people excited about it. So I said, OMG, do you guys want to see a bonkers new listing that we just stumbled upon? You'll see that now the results are showing as yes, 100%. But before, I had yes or no. If I were to swipe up, you can see that you can view all the interactions and impressions that people have had with this story. So I'm gonna go over to that little eye icon. And this is kind of a unique story. Usually I get more than just one answer on this, but I had 120 people say, yes, show me. Now here's the real power of the poll feature here on Instagram. If I were to look at any of these, if you see this little triangle paper plane icon, I can send a message directly to the people who have interacted with this poll. So this should already get you very excited, because think of all of the conversations that you can start with people who are reaching out to you and engaging with the stories that you're putting out there. So that is a fantastic way to get really, really creative with polls and to double down and have more conversations in the direct messages, which is going to lead to more set appointments over time. So I want you to get really excited about that feature and get creative and think about different ways that you can share different polls and create this content in a way that will result in more conversations. Now the next feature I want to share with you is another sticker called questions. You've probably seen this before. Again, this is stuff that's been around for a little while, but I just want to make sure that we're utilizing this to the best of our ability. Now, if I were to build a question piece of content on stories, I'm going to do the exact same thing, and I'm going to build it out in a way that's going to lead to more conversations. So if you haven't done this before, again, I'm just gonna go straight to stories, and you can do questions and polls even if you have videos, okay? So you can say, hey guys, I'm just building out my social media strategy on Instagram, and I wanna make sure I'm making things that you're gonna love, so tell me what kind of content you wanna see from me. That's kind of a fun way to just invite engagement from others, right? So I'm gonna do that video, I'm gonna hit that little square smiley icon, and I'm gonna hit questions. That's gonna add a little question box, and I'm gonna say, what kind of content do you want to see from me? Nothing crazy here, right? It's not rocket science. I'm gonna go ahead and put that where I want it, and then I'm just gonna post it to my story. That easy. So I'm gonna share with you an example of how I used a question in order to get some cool responses, okay? So here's a really simple little story that I made. Again, I did some white background, I put some text on it, and what I was going to share is try to get my audience to tell me who I should do a giveaway with. Now, giveaways on your account on Instagram, when they're done right, they're really, really great to get in front of new audiences. And I love to include my audience anytime I'm doing this, but again, I just added in some text, asked who my audience thought I should do a giveaway with, and I put in a little question box to invite people to give me their responses. Again, when I swipe up, you can see all kinds of different responses, and you can do a couple things here. You can either reply by messaging the person directly, or you can share response. So if I were to share response, I'm going to go ahead and put that response there, and I might do a video like, oh my gosh, this is such a cool response, a shop credit to this account. What do you guys think about that? Would that be kind of fun? Or you can even do a text. So if I wasn't going to do a video, I would just do a little quick picture, do the same thing, white out the background, and then, I might do something other than white so that the little giveaway box is gonna show up better. And then I can add in some text. What, if I can type, what do you think? And then you can add this back into your stories and show your audience that not only are you inviting engagement from them, but you're gonna engage with them right back. Now, I have used questions in a lot of different ways, okay? One of my favorite ways to do questions are, say, if I'm going through a new build community, okay? So I might go through new build communities, I might share a walkthrough of the beautiful models, all of my stories and video or pictures or both, and then at the end, I might do a fun little question box and say, what questions do you have about buying a new build in your area? And then I almost always, without fail, get awesome responses. I share the answers to their questions on the stories again, but then I'm also sending them a direct message and saying, hey, that was a really good question. I think that we should talk if you're looking to buy a new build anytime in the future. When is a good time to sit down and chat? So already you see that this is an amazingly powerful way to build out not only engagement, but again, set appointments, which is what it's all about. Now, the other secret ninja tip that I wanted to share with stories are tagging your location and hashtags. Now, again, if you've seen my other videos, you know that if you tag your location and add hashtags into your stories, you can get that story in front of other audiences who might be searching for content with those tags but don't already follow you. So obviously, this is a huge way to help broaden your reach. Now, one of the ways I do this every single day is I simply share the post that I posted on my feed into my stories, and then I'm gonna tag the location and hashtags behind that post. Here's what I mean. So after I've shared a post on my feed, say we go with this one, I'm gonna hit that little paper airplane icon and add post to story. Now this in itself is already a really great strategy to do, because if you're sharing your post to the feed and putting in your stories, you're gonna get that in front of that many more people who may have missed that you posted to your feed that day, okay? So on its own, this is already a really good strategy to do, but say we wanna take it a step further. Just gonna squeeze that and move it off to the side. I'm gonna go to the little square face at the top, and I'm gonna start by hitting location. So I'm almost always going to do my largest geographical area with wherever I'm at, which for me, that's Phoenix right now. I'm gonna add that there, and then I'm gonna add in a couple of hashtags. You don't have to use a little hashtag sticker, you can type them out, and as long as you are typing it out the right way, it's still gonna connect the same way. And I might do Phoenix AZ. I might do hashtag moving to AZ. I might do living, in AZ. Obviously, we are going to make sure that we're doing our research and choosing hashtags that are going to be most likely, hashtags that our prospective audience is already using. But say I use a couple of those, you can use up to 10. You don't have to use all 10, just use whatever's important. And then I'm going to hide that with the post. Now what happens when I share this to my stories? Again, I'm just gonna click my story at the bottom. What happens is people who view the story can click that link to view that post, and it will take them directly to the post. But again, anybody who is viewing content with those hashtags that I used, or with that location tag, they're going to see this story whether or not they're already following me. As long, of course, as long as my account is public, which your account should be public. Now, my next tip is just to do that same process, but by utilizing other content that's available to us. So for example, you don't have to have all of your content perfectly curated and created originally by you. There's a lot of content on Instagram, and a lot of it is stuff that your audience is probably interested in seeing, but maybe they just don't find it on their own. So if you're looking for ways to add to your stories, you can always do this little trick. So in this example, I might go to one of my favorite local restaurant groups and share one of their posts to my stories. I'm gonna do this because I'm going to assume that my audience likes this restaurant group too, since they're pretty big here in the Valley. And I wanna make sure that I'm interacting with this restaurant group a lot because I want to get in front of their audience as well. Okay, so here's a post that they did recently. I'm gonna go ahead and like it for one. I'm going to say sounds delish on that post because that really does sound delicious. And then I'm gonna take it a step further and I'm gonna hit that little paper plane icon. I'm gonna add post to my story. I'm gonna do the same thing that I just did in terms of adding my location because I wanna make sure that I'm getting as much reach as I can. I'm gonna go local AZ with a hashtag. I might add a few more if I had more time. I don't wanna, waste your time here on the video though. And I'm gonna go ahead and add this to my story and add some text. OMG, this looks like a great time. Obviously check the context of the post. Just for the sake of time, I wanna make sure that I'm being, short and concise here for your time, but make sure that this is a well thought out, engaging post. And then I'm gonna share it to my story. This does a couple of things. So not only is your audience going to see this fun content, and again, you can share just about any kind of post that would be relevant to your audience, whether it's real estate related or not. But the other thing that's going to do, it's going to notify that account that you've shared their post into your story. So when they get that notification, they have the option to reshare your story into their feed, which is then going to get you in front of their followers and increase the likelihood that people are going to say, hey, this looks like kind of a cool account. I need to follow this real estate agent. Okay, so that's a great organic way to help leverage your growth without being salesy or spammy while helping give value to your existing audience. All right, the last quick hack that I wanted to share with you is to have some templates ready and have just some great basic photos ready that you can share as backgrounds for your stories when you're creating these on the fly, okay? Here's what I mean. Now, if I swipe up here, I'm going to have all of the images from the last 24 hours in videos. You can see that I've already done bunches of screen recordings for this video. But if I click the camera album, I can go all the way down, and for me, I have Instagram graphics. And these are a couple of templates that I've created just so that I can have on hand in order to create engaging stories without having to dig through my camera roll full of baby pictures and weird videos, right? So I actually went onto Canva and I created a couple of these using my brand colors and my logo. So this is a great way just to have a few of these on hand. You can just select it, it'll take you 2 minutes to pull it up, and this way you can create beautiful original content on your stories that's very branded to you. Now, I would encourage you to have a couple of different templates here that you can use at any time, and they don't all have to be perfectly branded to your business. You can see that I have a couple here with different colors. I have this cool marble background that I've used. I have my main brand colors with our little logo on the back. Anytime you add on one of these pictures, by the way, it's gonna add on that date, so you need to delete it. And then sometimes, like this shell picture, I might save a photo that someone else has shared, or I might save something from Pinterest that I just think is kind of pretty and would make a good background. And I always like to have that on hand as well. Same thing here. You can also organize your camera roll when you're taking cute pictures of your clients with sold photos. If you do that on your listings or with buyers, you can always kind of have those on hand too and use those to create really beautiful stories as well. And there you have it. That's just a handful of little sneaky ninja tips that you can use to create beautiful branded stories and increase the engagement and reach of those stories as well. And remember, stories for me is the most important part of my Instagram strategy. That is where I'm spending the most time. So definitely try out a couple of these tips and tricks. I hope that you find them helpful. And if you want to take your Instagram strategy to the next level, be sure to check out my free resources below, where I have my Instagram guide as well as my latest free Instagram masterclass, where I'm dishing on all the strategies that I'm using to grow in 2020. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, keep on crushing it.